Good morning. My name is Diane Garner, and since we're all at home for a while, and many people are complaining with nothing to do, I thought that I would talk to you a little bit about some things that you could do with art. Students, when you're home and finished with your homework, you can do some art projects. With this first video, I wanted to talk to you about some things that you will need, some materials that you will need. You maybe didn't bring home anything from school, so some of these things I'll tell you about that you might just have at home anyway. You might use crayons if you have your crayons at home, markers. Hopefully you'll have a paint set, but if you don't, that's fine. Typing paper can be used if you have typing paper. Different kinds of paper could be used. Even paper plates. You can draw on paper plates or paint on them. You might have an old brown paper bag. You can draw and paint on paper that is not usually drawing paper if you don't have regular drawing paper here with you. I even saw, before I threw away my trash, you could take different, even yellow envelopes and pull them apart, and on the inside it won't have any writing on it, and so you could use this to draw on. That would be fine. I found another piece of paper that I was about to throw away, and even though I had folded it here, I could just cut this part away and use that to draw on. I bet your mom has about half of the mail that she gets in the mailbox that she throws away. Ask Mom to look at her papers that she's about to throw away. Turn them over. If they're white on the back, you can use that to draw or paint on. So don't throw away things until you check them out. And then another piece of paper that's good to draw on, even though it has writing on it, is newspaper. If your mom and dad get the newspaper, look through it and find part of the newspaper that has little tiny writing on it. And then you can still draw on that. If you use crayons or paint, or even pencil, if you color in dark with your pencil, that would be fine on newspaper. Now let's talk about different things that you might use to paint with. Hopefully you have some paint at your house. If you don't have a paint set, you might use other things that you have around the house. Try coffee. If your mom makes coffee in the morning, ask her to give you a little bit of coffee in a cup, not to drink, but to paint with. And you'll have a really nice brown painting that when you finish. Maybe Mom has some food coloring that she puts in the food that she makes, cupcakes and cakes and things. You can paint with that. Put a little drop of that into a tiny bit of water, and you can paint with the food coloring. If your family likes to eat beets, ask Mom to put a little bit of the beet juice into a cup and paint with the beet juice. It's a beautiful color of red. So try that. Also, blackberry juice or blueberry juice. people used to, a long time ago, use all kinds of berries to paint with. Even the cavemen would use berries to paint on the inside of their caves. And some of those paintings are still with us today. And then, what if you don't have a paintbrush at home with you? I just now went outside and I got a couple of sticks off of a tree. I think it would work better if you would cut a limb off of a tree that is still bendable. I got this one off of a dogwood tree. But look at some new growth on the tree that is bendable. And once you cut it off, this one, I just cut it off. This one, I took my scissors and cut the end of it and then pulled it out so that it looks more like a brush. So if you don't have a brush at home, make you a brush and try that. Even if you have a brush at home, you might still like to make your own brush and see what happens. You might like this kind of brush for part of your painting. A Q-tip works good to paint with. An old toothbrush, especially if you want splatters on your paint, little tiny splatters. Use the toothbrush and hold it like this and use your finger and flick the toothbrush, and that will make splatters on your paint, on your paper. Just be sure that you're pointing it toward your paper and not toward something else. Another idea, since I mentioned that, is ask Mom for a trash bag or an old newspaper and put it down on your desk or on your table where you're working so you won't get anything on the table. So those are some materials that you can use that we might be using to do our art lessons with. I would also like for you to have a pencil and a piece of paper for the art lessons that we do, so that you can write down some notes, and there might be some new words that I'll tell you, or some things about an art history person that I might like for you to remember, so that this can be a lesson like I would give you if I was teaching you in school, and you can give yourself a test at the end of it. The last thing I want to remind you of is when when I was reading my Bible lesson this morning, I came across a verse that I think we all need to remember. Right now, it seems to be a scary time in our history, and one of the verses touched my heart this morning, and it comes from Isaiah. Isaiah 27:1 reminds us, "The Lord is my salvation, the light of my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" So I think that the Lord doesn't want us to fear about this situation that we're in right now. And we're told that fear can actually affect our immune system and make us even more susceptible to anything. So don't be afraid. If you're a Christian, the Lord's going to take care of you. So remember that, and have a good day. Thank you.